Greetings. My name is Elliot Wood. I'm one of the co-founders of Orderly Meetings. Orderly Meetings is the only meeting and governance management platform designed specifically for church clerks and secretaries to manage their meetings and the unique review and control functions of denominational courts. Just to give you a quick intro to Orderly Meetings, I wanted to share first what are the problems that we set out to solve for. Well, the first is documents everywhere. As a church session clerk in the Presbyterian Church, I quickly learned that documents everywhere were a problem. Documents on personal computers and thumb drives and various shared drives and somebody's work drive and emails and ping pong and which version are we in and the final.pdf email followed by the final.pdf email just gets kind of crazy. And we wanted to solve for that problem. We also wanted to solve for the problem of the church's vital records being stored in people's personal OneDrive or Google Drive or wherever, and then getting lost when life changes, when they leave the church or if they leave a job or things like that that may cause a problem with continuity for your records. So we also want to solve for meeting prep and agendas and just keeping a simple shared document that has easy tools to distribute to members of the assembly and easily attach reports and handouts for distribution. We want that to be one place that all of the members of your board or session or vestry can go to see the agenda and see the most recent version. Again, solving the problem of the final.pdf email and reporting of the client from and then providing secure and simple archival of minutes, always in the church's system of record, always moving toward a searchable AI-integrated tool set that helps you find what you need. We're solving for the cumbersome review process and submitting minutes to higher courts and then reviewing them. So particularly for denominations like the Presbyterian denominations that have a review of records process whereby local church sessions send their minutes to a presbytery, where presbyteries send their minutes to the General Assembly for review. We want to provide a simple process to submit the minutes, to review the minutes, to return citations and findings. So in line with that, we're simplifying the compliance with those requirements by ensuring that meetings and minutes comply with the bylaws, with the Book of Church Order, and other denominational contractual requirements, and giving you a tool that lets you manage that compliance. We're simplifying the review of the compliance, the submitting, reviewing, the reporting, and the correcting. So in this example here, we might have in a Presbyterian church the session that oversees all of the other committees and commissions and bodies of decision-making authority in the church. These reporting structures are definable by you as you create your own organization. But a lot of times in denominations, we also have an inter-organizational structure where multiple churches, maybe some committees and commissions, might report to a committee a review of session records in a presbytery or another regional denominational assembly. And Orderly Meetings supports the ability to have relationships defined between assemblies that are in different organizations. I'm in Paradise Presbyterian's demo tenant, and you'll see I have several assemblies here. I have a finance committee and Paradise Deacons and the preschool board and the session. And so in each organization we can have multiple assemblies. We're simply using a loose definition of Robert's Rules definition of a deliberating group. So I'm going to jump into the session assembly here first, and you'll see I have a list of meetings, and in my demo account I have lots of meetings, but I'm going to first step into the called session meeting for today. So I'm going to jump straight into the agenda builder, and you'll see at the top of my screen we're looking to help us be compliant with our requirements from the beginning. So when we create a meeting, we will give it a name, we'll give it a time, we'll name where it is, and we'll choose a checklist that applies for this meeting, and we'll name the leaders that are involved in this particular meeting. In each section, we can choose what we want to be in here. Right now, this function is really what we just call a note boat. We can give it a topic or a title. We can put whatever we want in the note boat. And you'll see that I have pre-filled this agenda with several options. Now, if you're just a member of the assembly, you're not a leader, you're not an administrator of the assembly, you can open this screen and see it in a read-only view that doesn't have all the formatting toolbars and things like that, but will let you see what's going on and be able to prepare yourself for the meeting, maybe come in and open the attachments. In this case, my agenda has an attached set of minutes for the meeting. And as a member of the session, I could come in and look at those minutes and prepare myself for the meeting. Now, on the right-hand side, you'll see here we have this output selector, and that lets me as the clerk decide what I want to print in which packet. So everything that is checkboxed with an A would print in the A packet. Everything that's checkboxed with B would print in a different packet. And I can use this, say, if I need to print a packet that I send out ahead of time as a PDF, and maybe exclude some of the details of the executive session portion of the meeting that I don't want to be floating around in people's email, but maybe I would check everything there and all of the sections and include the executive session in a B selection that I actually use to print the packet, including that confidential information, hand it out at the meeting, and then maybe retrieve those notes. I can also use these for whatever other purposes I might have. So a lot of clerks might want to record some of the non-official recorded Robert's Rules compliant notes that go along with a meeting, maybe some of the discussion that shouldn't be in the official packet that lands, in the binder or gets submitted for review and certified, but we might want to be able to have it for reference in future meetings and just understand what some of the previous discussion was. Or perhaps we might want to use one of these letters for output to include notes of assignment, that maybe if we're sending some of the follow-up actions that we want to send down to staff people, the communications director needs to get some of the decisions and know what they need to distribute out to the congregation or something like that. We could use those output selectors to choose to group different parts of our meeting into a different packet. Now, once I get to the meeting and I want to start, I can simply click this meeting button here, and I'll get a little pop-up that just warns me that once I hit this button and say yes, I'm going to be in the meeting mode of the application. I'm going to be in the minutes builder, and anything that I change back in the agenda from this point forward will not be reflected in the meeting minutes. So all that really happens here is that we make a copy of the agenda into a new version of the screen, and we'll note that we now have a little green bar on the left-hand side letting us know that we're in the meeting mode. And I can just start to record my minutes. So maybe I say, these people are present, somebody's excused, somebody's not here, and I can take my attendance here in the screen. All I've done here, and in the current version of the software, we allow you to drop a table from an Excel spreadsheet. I've just dropped that into my boat here. We do have intentions to build out further attendance management functions, but maybe I do want that to print with my minutes packet, so I'll just click A there. And then we'll have our opening session, and I may record that indeed we had a motion to approve the agenda. I may just record that here, and of course I'm going to include this in my minutes packet. I might note who opened in prayer, and I can just keep going down and updating my minutes here. Now, one thing that often happens in a meeting is we may start with an agenda that says the clerks section is going to go first, but for one reason or another at the beginning of the meeting we decide that the member care team actually needs to report first because someone needs to leave or something, and we can just grab a little selector on the side and move those the way they need to go. Now, you'll notice as well that I can decide as a clerk whether I want to include each of these sections in the checklist that's going to go up to my Review of Records committee. And so I'm just choosing down here that, yes, indeed, I am submitting these records to my committee. So I finished my meeting, and now what do I need to do? Well, the first thing I need to do is come back and maybe send the packet to my committee members, in which case I will choose to hit the minutes packet. I'll compile a packet, and then I'll be able to download that. And currently I would send that through whatever email mechanism I use, or I would just let everybody know that they can log into Orderly Meetings, and those that are members would be able to see this page in read-only mode, and those that are leaders would be able to edit it. But I can do either way, and if I need to download that packet or print it out, I now have a PDF that I can download. I might want to self-review them against the checklist that my committee has provided to me. And so if I click on that self-check button, I can view my minutes, see what my team of reviewers is going to see, and I can go in and check the boxes and say, yes, we did include the date and time. Yes, we included the location. Yes, we included the quorum was met. Yes, we had attendance. Yes, we opened with prayer. No, we did not include the new members according to the BCO, and I might make a note here. And my review committee, when they receive my minutes, will be able to see my answers to these questions so that they can know why we sent them the way we did. And we're sort of going ahead and telling on ourselves ahead of time. So I'm going to hit save here. And then once I'm done with it, I can hit submit the review upstream. It's going to give me a little prompt that, are you sure you want to do that? Do you want to view the draft? It's going to give me a download real quick of my minutes so I can see what I am sending up to them. Here's my minutes. And then I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, I do indeed want to submit that. So I'm going to hit submit. And now my review of session records committee has those minutes. And so if I go back to meetings here, you'll see that I have that list of my meetings. You'll see if I click on findings here at my session level that I can see that I did, in fact, submit it now in my findings report. I have this meeting, and I can see the status of that meeting. I can see my scoring of it and when I submitted it. If the Review of Records Committee has reviewed things already, I can click on this completed button and I can see the records that they have already reviewed. And I can click on the little down arrow and see the actual findings of their review. In this case, I might find that there was a non-compliant note that I did not include the date and time or something like that. So I am going to pause for just a second here, and then I'll pop back in as a review team member so you can see a little bit of what it looks like from the review perspective. Okay, so now I'm in the review and control section of the Review of Session Records Committee, and I can see that that meeting that I just completed as the session clerk is now in the queue for review and control at the review team level. I can see here that I first get a little overview, and I can make a comment here about maybe that I'm reviewing the records and giving it a first pass before somebody else gives it a second pass. And then I can click on the packet review, and on the right-hand side here, I see the same checklist. I see the answers that the clerk below me gave, and I can go through and give my answers, and maybe I disagree with the attendance. Here I get a little pop-up where I can enter my remarks, enter what page it was on, and enter whether it was an issue of form or substance. And so I'm just going to mark everything else as green, and we will hit save. And then now I can either complete the review or abandon the review. If I complete the review, it will send back the findings down to that lower court that submitted them to me. I'm going to hold off on that a minute because a review team may need to take that back to their assembly, perhaps the presbytery, for approval before they send those findings back out to the lower courts. But once I'm happy with that, I can hit the complete review button. I could reopen the review and take some more notes or just be done with it. And now when I click on reviews and click back here, you'll see that that meeting is now in my completed review and control queue. And if I go back as the clerk of the session in Paradise Presbyterian, that clerk would see that that this has been completed and be able to see their score. You have expectations and intentions to further develop out these functions in future versions, allowing for responses from lower courts, allowing for further reporting and aggregate reporting and things like that. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it was helpful for you to understand how Orderly Meetings works, and we look forward to being able to serve you and serve alongside you.